Hello guys, welcome back to this series. In our last class, we were able to achieve this. We were able to draw a plain surface on the screen and then give it a color, red color. And in this tutorial, I want to fill our screen with a background and then draw the goblin enemy and then make the goblin enemy to move around. So we are going to do that in this class. So let's get right to our code. So this is the code I used for the last class and I still want to reuse them, but I'm going to put them in the second tutorial, which we don't really have anything there. I'm going to select everything here, copy it so that I will be able to put this code out for you to go and recheck them. I'm going to paste everything here, but I need to standardize some of the things and how we use them here. So for the all this code from this part, I don't really need them here. I'm going to remove them from here, and this part too, I will not be needing it, so I'm going to delete them from here, and then I want to clean up some things a little bit. And here I'm going to name here my while loop. I think could better off, or you can name yours just loop. While with comments is going to be kind of easy for you to read and understand them, so I'm going to make this to draw function. I need to create a draw function, so I'm going to comment it draw function. Then I'm going to define the function def draw. Sorry, it has to be small letter. Let me just make it font like this, and then I'm going to comment here again for our, I think under it, here is where I'm going to define my variables. I'm going to say variable definition. I believe my spelling is correct. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fill the screen environment with a background, that is an image surface. So to do that, I'm going to name here background, and I'm going to say pygame dot image dot load, and I'm going to specify the directory. For me, I put both my image and my code in the same folder, so I don't have to add a long address. So I can just write the name of the image. But should in case you put yours in a separate folder, let's say image, you can just say image and then slash and then the name of the image you want. I think the one I want is back, the extension png. But since I put both my code and the background in the same environment, I won't be needing this. So I'm going to remove it. And once I define it like this, I can come here and draw it. I'm going to say something like screen dot bleed. So screen dot bleed, I'm going to say background, and then I'm going to specify the position of the background where I want the background to be, which is going to be 0, 0, so that it will be at the top corner there and fill the whole page. So once I save this now, and I have to go and call my function down here. So I think I have to call the function down here, which is draw, and I have to update my screen after I called it. I will see something like pygame dot display dot update. Then I can save it now and run it and see what will happen. But note we are not using tutorial 1 again, but tutorial 2.5. And then once I run it, then you see I have my screen filled with a background, although this is not really the size of the background, the frame I want. So I think I have to go and fix that. So I'm going to change this to 800. And then I'm going to change this to 450, right? And if I run it again, and I think this is better. So the next thing I'm going to do now is draw a font. I'm going to write a font on the screen that is going to show us our score. So I'm going to first define the font. So I'm going to say something like font, which is equal to pygame dot font dot system info. The S has to be in capital letter. System system font, the F2 has to be in capital letter. Then here I'm going to specify the type of the particular system font that I want. You can specify any one of your choice, but make sure you know the exact name here. And if you don't have any font in mind, you can just say type null there, and then Pygame will use a default font for you. So after that, then I'll specify the size of the font. I want mine to be 30, and then I'm going to specify if I want to bold it, I will just type through here. And if I want it italic, I can also type through here. I don't want it italic, so I'm going to stop here. You type through or first there, but instead of writing that, you will just leave the place blank. I just want it to be bold. And then after that, I'm going to define the font here. I'm going to render the font here. So I'm going to say font equal to font dot render. So this render is going to be like is what is going to generate the font for me, so that I will be able to use it so that I'll be able to like bleed it to my screen. I'm going to say something like the particular word that I want to use. So I'm going to type it here, and I want to use score. And after that, I'm going to, if I want to like curve it, if I want to like edit some of, like I'm using Comic Sans, if I want to like make it look a kind of nicer, I will make it through here. The T has to be in capital letter first, and then the color of the fonts that you want to use. I think I'll be going with black. And I think with this, what is left for me now is to just draw my font. I'm going to say screen dot bleed, then font. Then I will specify the position in the top where I want to bleed it to. And I think since my screen is, the width is 800, I'll be bleeding it around 350. And then since my height is 450, I think I should bleed it around, okay, 50. So now, so that it will be at the top center. So once I save this now, apply my script and run the function, let's see what will happen. Then you see we have our font score there written in Comic Sans. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the goblin surface now. So I will come here now and define the variable for it to goblin surface. I like using making it clear their surface, because everything in Pygame are all surface. So this is the surface of the background, and if you change it here too, you have to change it here too. I have to change mine here to background surface. Likewise, I have my goblin surface here, and I have to equal it to Pygame dot image dot load, and then I'm going to specify the image. I'm going to say, I think the name is L2E. So this is the name I used to save the image.png. So I bring the image. Then I want to show you something again. So for example, now if I go at the top there and I say something like screen.bleed, and then I'll say goblin the surface, then I will specify where I want to bleed it to in a tuple. So if I said the height is 400, I want it to be down, so I want it to be around, the width should be 700, and the height should be something like 320. So that is the position I want it to be, 320 or 330, something thereabout. So once I run my code now, you see that we have our background and everything, but our goblin is not showing, and I'm going to show you why. So look at what happened here now. First we draw our goblin, then we draw our background surface, which is going to cover the goblin surface, and it will not be able to like make the goblin surface to show. And why the text is showing is because this text is on top of the background surface, so we have to put the goblin on top of the background surface so that we'll be able to like see our goblin. So to do that, I can come down and paste it, save it again, clear the screen, and then if I run it now, you'll be able to see our goblin somewhere here. Then the next thing I want to do in this tutorial is that I want to move the goblin. Each time I run my program, I want the goblin to be moving towards the left side. and I hope you know that is going to be a minus. So I'm going to go to where I defined my function, and after I called the function draw here, under it I'm going to say something like but before that, I think I have to do something. This is the width of my goblin, and whenever we move objects in Python, we are going to use the width to be moving them. So when we increase the width, they will be moving. When we reduce it, they will be moving the opposite direction. So I'm going to say something like gob width, and then I'm going to define gob width here, gob width, which is equal to the same 700. So at this point, everything is still the same. But here, this is what I'm going to do with gob width now. So now I'm going to say goblin width minus equal 5. So what this is going to do, just like what we did in the first class, is going to subtract our goblin width here is 700. So what this is going to do is going to subtract 5 from 700 each time we loop over this code, and it will make our goblin to be moving towards the left direction. So let me show you how it's going to, the output is going to look like. So can you see our goblin is moving towards the left direction because we are subtracting 5 from it, but it's a bit slow because of the time we are using. So but right now I think I have to standardize this. I'm going to use clock and not this, and I have to define it at the top of my code too. I'm going to say something like clock, which is going to be equal to pygame dot time dot clock. The C has to be in capital letter. This C here has to be in capital letter, and then I'll go down and call it here at the top, the same place I put the time then. So I'm going to do something like clock dot tick, and then I'm going to specify the number I want. And how this number works is that each number we are going to put here is going to be the number of loop that the while loop is going to loop this code. So if I say something like 60, so the while loop is going to loop over this code 60 times in a second. So if I say something like 1, the while loop is going to loop over this code once in a second. And let me show you how it's going to look like when I set it at that point. Like time clock. Sorry, like I said, the C has to be in capital letter. I didn't know that I changed it, so it should be in capital letter. If not, it won't run well. So now I'll clear my screen. I will show you. It's kind of too slow, so it's not really advisable to make it in that way. The average we can make it is 60, or you can use a bold. But one thing I want you to understand is that the higher the number, the faster the game, and then the lower the number, the slower the game. So at this point now, if I run my game, you observe that it's going to be a kind of, the goblin is very fast now and it's not very slow. But the problem now is that our goblin leaves the screen and will never come back. So the next thing I want us to do is, once the goblin is out of the screen, then we'll bring the goblin back again. That's what I want us to do in this tutorial again. So what we are going to do, we are going to go back to where we defined our code, and then we are going to say if goblin width. We should know that goblin width automatically as of now is equal to 700, but at the point where it reaches the edge is 0. That's when this 5 subtracts it till the point where it reaches the 0. That's when it reaches the edge of the left side. But what I want to do is, once it leaves the screen totally, it should come from the other direction again. I'm going to say if it's less than minus 100. So at this point now, it's going to leave the screen totally. If it's less than minus 100, what we want to do is to bring it back again. So I'm going to set the goblin position back to its default, which is 700, and then this is going to bring goblin back again to the screen. So let's see what the output is going to look like. So you see, so once it leaves the screen, it will come back again. Once it leaves the screen, it will come back again. So I believe this is where we are going to stop in this tutorial. And in the next tutorial, we are going to work on our player. We are going to see how we can bring our player to the screen, animate it, make our player to jump, and really work on our player. But I would advise you to try to, like, your exercise is going to be import the player image on the screen, just like the way we did for Goblin. Play around with the code. That's the best way to learn Pygame. So thank you. See you in our next series on Pygame.